Hola, hola. This is your boy DarkSkinTico, and I'm going to be doing a video on um, how women always get away with stuff, and people always think it's like funny or is make it a joke for the most part. And it's sad how this actually happens. When it happens, for the most part, it's very sad. And people just you got people always trying to help them or help them sweep it under the rug, and it's just stuff along the lines of that. It just blows my mind when I actually see stuff like this happen. But yeah, this is starting with the first story of this whole entire thing.
We're gonna tell the truth, Mr. Mansell. In your life,
And it's stuff like this that people don't realize. What the hell? What the heck, dude? Ah, too many stories jumping in at once. All right, yeah, but there's stuff like this that blows my mind on the shit that people can do and say to people, and then like turn around and say accuse like turn around and like say stupid stuff to them like this when in fact you're the one that caused this whole entire mess. But you want to berate or belittle the person who you threw under the bus, which I've always found interesting what that women can actually do in the United States. And typically women do this more often than not in the United States. And the sad part about that is and it's just sad how this works out. It's like very sad. And I can never understand why it is or why it happens, but like literally women are willing to do this. Go as far as to make this face and do shit like this. Let me wind it back and so you can see her response after that. Yeah, see, women that's women's automatic defense mechanism right there. Instead of actually accepting guilt or instead of actually accepting guilt and or accepting responsibility, they got to blame. They push the blame and everything off on another person for the most part, instead of taking responsibility for their own actions. And it's typically stuff like this where you'll see on a regular basis women would do this quite often and get away with it. Like think about that. Women could do this and get away with it. Moving on to the next story. This is a teacher who sexually assaulted a boy, sent them like very uh, crazy stuff to his phone and stuff like that. And she wants to. She's sitting up here accusing me. She's basically trying to get her wiggle her way out, and her husband's apparently in on it too. So you'll find this stuff interesting right here. Just imagine if you had a sixth grade student, and this happened to your sixth grade student. Like, how upset would you be by this? Now, imagine this woman's married too, by the way, and she's messing with a 13-year-old boy, and she's married, and you'll hear her simp boyfriend pretty soon here. Wait a minute, you hear what she said? Why do you say that? Like, she literally was messing with his son, and her response is, "Why do you say that?" This is your typical standard response that you'll get from women when they're trying to defend themselves and pass blame, and are just trying to defend themselves and make it sound like what they did is not all that bad at all. That's typically the type of response that you get from women. Yeah, like now she's trying to, trying to manipulate and use her feminine wiles to get out of like, possibly, getting any legal charge or ramifications against her for the most part. Oh, see, look, yeah, we can settle outside. We don't like basically. There's no need to take this to court. Oh, this simp motherfucker standing right next to her. Interesting. Yeah, like think about that. Her husband tried to simp for her the mostest, and it's funny how that works. And you know that she's not dating alpha male, and she's probably dating an incel for the most part, kind of like a lot of the Twitch streamers and a lot of the only girls fans are dating basically incels. And the sad part about that is you know that she is because no man in his right mind would defend that shit unless he's a pedophile himself. No man in his right mind would defend that shit. So basically, what happened there is he basically he basically knows that's the best he can get, and he's not willing to sell out his wife basically because he knows that's the best he can get. No matter what her flaws is, that's the best he can get, and that's probably the best thing he could possibly do. Which means she actually has more sexual marketplace value than her husband does. It's just facts. Because ain't nobody finna to defend their wife over some stuff like this. Good for that. Good for that boy's school. I mean, good for that boy's parents. Because that's some ridiculous stuff. That should never happen to anybody. I don't care who you are. That should never happen to any child. That's just ridiculousness. Um, it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind when I hear people say the stuff that they do, and it's like, wait a minute, how did they even get this far? Why do you even why how why? And it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind when it comes to certain people. What's up, Corey? Still, what's up? I'm just talking about like how women are so oppressed and how they try to manipulate their way out of trouble when they get into trouble, basically. So that's basically what the stream is about. Hence why it's like women are oppressed in air quotes, basically, because because I really don't believe the crap that they're actually oppressed. But yeah, it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna set up another story for y'all to hear, basically, or you to hear, right here, real soon. Because it gets real ridiculous. Even the cops aren't safe. Check this shit out. It's so bad, cops aren't safe. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. No, no. Yeah, cops aren't even safe from this shit. This is how sad this society's gotten. The cops aren't even fucking safe. This one's basically a state trooper who got accused of stuff during a traffic stop. Now, mind you, her attorney issued an apology. Not the actual woman who committed the crime, her attorney. Her attorney. Why is her attorney issuing an apology and not the actual woman who actually did this? Now, mind you, this nigga's simping the mostest or white knighting the mostest. He didn't even know the full story. And it's just shit like this. Now, this officer's life was ruined and derailed for a hot second, basically, all because of this bullshit. And this woman done did this shit. So not only is she using female privilege, she's using race privilege right now. Like she should be apologizing for derailing this officer, damn near derailing this officer's life. That's just fucking ridiculous. I can't. It just blows my mind on how much shit people can do and get away with, and it's just crazy. It's real crazy. It's like, wow, dude, really? That's what we doing now. That's what we doing now. And it's just stuff like that. Oh man, it's just ooh, this is just sickening. Sickening as hell on how much shit can actually be done to men, and everybody look the other way. This is basically this one's half across the pond for our lovely brothers in the UK. This is another case that happened in the UK. So this is across the pond to our lovely UK brothers who are accused of some bullshit. Do you hear the sound? Okay, Corey. Do you hear the sound? Okay. If not, I'll just have the I'll have the what's it called on. But you should be able to hear sound because it's like all the way up, literally all the way up. Well, I stopped it. I paused it now, but I'll just leave the captions on for this crap because apparently YouTube is cutting up now. Apparently, she's being charged a public nuisance for giving a false testimony. That's messed up. Poor guy. And it's just stuff like this that just it's crazy. It's crazy how stuff like that happens, and it's so sad. It's so sad, and shit like this happens so often. It's fucking ridiculous. This one's another police officer. He's a police chief who was accused of some bullcrap too. Luckily, they were able to find it out, and he was reinstated back to his job because we all know most people don't get their jobs back or ever recover from shit like this, basically, which is super sad, super fucking sad. It's like they never. There's a lot of people that never, ever recover from this. Luckily, he did. Now, mind you, he was separated from his job for 3 months, so he couldn't pay no bills for about 3 months probably, and he was accused of rape. And basically, you're gonna get to hear a statement. If you don't hear it, I'll basically leave the captions on right here so you can actually see it. She went as far as to doctor fake emails to accuse this man of rape. Like, listen to this shit. She went as far as to doctor emails to accuse this man of rape. Like, think about how diabolical you got to be to like doctor shit so you can actually accuse somebody of some shit that they didn't do. Now, she didn't accuse multiple detectives of rape. Not just the chief. Multiple detectives got accused of rape by this woman. But this only happens like this is only a small percentage of the stuff that happens. She only accused multiple people. Like you literally have a higher chance of actually being accused of rape, falsely being accused of rape, than you do of being struck by lightning. Literally, literally, literally. Like, why do you have to think about making decisions on those charges next week? Like, why do you even have to think about that? Like, really, dude, come on now. And it's just stuff like this that just blows my fucking mind on how people could do stuff so willy nilly or so irresponsibly. It's like sickening. It's very sickening how that actually works. Eh, people aren't tripping anymore. They just do any damn thing, and it's sickening. But yeah, it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind when I see and hear people do the stuff that they do to people. Yeah, I know, Corey Steele. Believe all women. That's some bullshit right there. And the sad part about that is this woman accused multiple officers of this shit. Not only did she accuse multiple officers of shit, she accused the chief of police of this shit. And it's just stuff like this, like that just blows my mind when you hear people say, well, it doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen that often. It kind of reminds me of the one case with the one woman that was caught, the one teacher that was caught diddling her student. Then she not only and she now she now imagine she's married. This is a different case from the one that I just showed. Now, no, don't mind the fact that she's married, but her and her attorney, who is a her, accused a boy of coming on to her. Her and her attorney, who is a female, accused a boy for coming on to her. Forget the fact that you're married. Forget the fact that you're an adult. Forget the fact that you're a teacher and you're actually a person in power. Yeah, and the sad part about that, opposite of what they say is true. The opposite of what they say definitely is true. But the sad part about that, at the end of the day, what a lot of people fail to realize when it comes to women, even if they're telling the truth, they never tell the whole truth. And unless everything's on the line, they never tell the whole truth. A woman is never going to be willing to tell you the truth unless shit is on the line for the most part. And the sad part about that, even in cases where shit is on the line, she'll basically only tell enough truth to pacify the masses. And it's kind of like a good example of that is if you've ever been in a relationship with a woman who cheated on you, she ain't finna tell you she cheated on you unless the evidence come up that she cheated on you. Then, like, before she actually ever admits to it, why don't you believe me? You're always accusing me of cheating, or why don't you trust me? Or all these crazy questions where like that person is lying. You should be trusting me more. Then you start throwing evidence in her face. Then they want to start crying. That's the first thing they go through is crying. Because the sad part about when a woman cheats, she's willing to go as far as to take it to her damn grave. She's not willing to tell it. She's going to take it to her damn grave. It's just facts. A woman's willing to take it to her grave if she cheats. However many times she cheats, she's willing to take that to the grave. And the sad part about that is 9 times out of 10, if she cheated on you once, it probably wasn't the only time she cheated on you. The time that you caught her cheating on you, she probably got sloppy for the most part. And that's typically how that works. Women just get sloppy. It's sad, but it's so true. Women get sloppy so fucking much. And it just blows my mind on how much shit that women can do and say and get away with. And nobody even remotely asked a question. Nobody remotely even say anything. Nobody even, it's basically no different than the Karens of the day for the most part. Whenever they get caught, whenever they get caught in some shit, they go to automatic crying. Like that one Karen, the one chick started crying when when a one girl was the one girl after she done did something so racist, she started crying basically. Well, I can't believe you did this to me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show a picture of her crying because she literally started crying like it was the person's fault just so she'd get people in trouble. Barbecue Becky, or was it Barbecue Barbara? Yeah, she basically called the cops and then she's gonna sit up there and cry to the cops basically while she's on the phone with them, and that's what a lot of women do. They'll sit up there and cry to the cops while they're on the phone with them. And the sad part about that, what's up, Win? The sad part about that, when women cry, they know that they can garner the sympathy that they need so everybody can believe her. Because female tears. That's all you need is female tears. And it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind when you see it happen and like so blatantly. And it's so ridiculous. But I have just one more story to show y'all. It's a weather girl who accused somebody of some shit. It's a weather woman that accused somebody of some shit. I don't know if y'all can hear the sound, but the videos. But a couple of them play, a couple of them don't play. YouTube being funny, basically. YouTube don't want everybody to hear in my comment section. In my comment section, basically. You ever notice how a lot of these women kind of sort of have this similar look to them? Like anybody else like noticing a similar look that all these women have to them, or is it just me? Like anybody else noticing a similar look that all these women have to them, from Karen to all the accusers? Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy how like people could do this shit. But yeah, wow, just wow, dude, just wow, just wow. Oh wow! Check this bitch out. She blamed an Hispanic man, a stocky Hispanic man. Like, like here's the sad part about that, and like because I'm a person of color, it would be more believable if you would have said it was a black man. like legit. Um, and the sad part about that is it's just shit like this that just blows my mind. That she blamed she filed a false police report and then she accused an Hispanic man, a stocky Hispanic man in Central Park. Like, think about that shit. Like, how's this even a thing? Like, how do people get away with this shit? How do people get away with this shit? Then they turn on a waterworks so people can believe them because waterworks. Wait, refrain from jumping to conclusions on the on the stuff that's said in the press. Wow, like think about this shit. This is how much privilege women actually have. Where your lawyer can literally come out and just say this all nonchalantly or with such carblage. She experienced personal relationship problems, so she blamed an Hispanic man. She was experiencing personal relationship problems, so she blamed an Hispanic man for false rape. An Hispanic man for false rape, all because you're going through personal relationship problems. Really? Really? Seriously? What, a year? A year? Only a fucking year? Really, dude? A year? Oh, hell no. Because I know damn well if I was to do anything falsely, I'm getting like at least like 3-4 years minimum, 3-4 years minimum, and she only has to face up to a year for falsely filing a report. Now, if a man was to falsely file a report, he would at least get like 2-3 years in jail, 2-3 years in jail at least. One on good behavior, but she files a false release report. Oh, she could face up to a year in jail. So she can get 6 months, she can get a year, she can get any of this shit, but she's not going to actually get the same thing that a man would get for the most part, which is sad. What the hell is this world coming to? What the hell is this world coming to? And it's just stuff like this that just blows my mind when I hear shit like this happen to people. Like, how is this even a thing? How can this even still be a thing? Oh, you're gonna love this story here. I got two more for you because I basically done deleted a few of them, so I got two more for you. This is just goofy. It's just the goofy shit that people do. I can't even say it blows my mind because it's wow. Just people, seriously. Oh, you'll love this. This teacher got pregnant by her student. I'm willing to bet that's probably one of the few reasons why she actually got caught. All right. You hear what this woman said? Normally on cases like this, they get 3 life sentences. This lady only got 10 years. And normally on cases like this, they get 3 life sentences. And this woman said, if I was her, I would, if I was her, I'd count my blessings, basically. Like, think about that shit. Like, this woman only got 10 years for normally that you would normally get like 3 life sentences for. Wait. So, to absolve her of the stupid shit that she did, we're gonna go back to her childhood and say she witnessed domestic violence and she's been in bad relationships. That doesn't negate the fact that what you just did to a middle school student. That doesn't negate that fact. I don't care what anybody says. I've always found it funny how we always want to go back and look at people's histories so we can try to absolve them of shit. Or we want to go back and look at history so we can justify killing somebody. That's typically how it works. So if it's a woman, we'll go back to justify her actions by saying abuse or trouble relationships, stuff like that. Just mind blowing. If it's a man, we'll go back to say that he abused cats and he mutilated animals and he beat up the neighborhood kids. He was a school bully. He did lines of coke. They'll just find any fucking reason to basically crucify a man. But a woman, they'll find any reason to let her off. History of deception. She has a history of deception. Like, think about that shit. A history of deception. Rewind this back because I talked over a lot of that shit. The judge said the student teacher relationships are alarming. Alarming. The number of student teacher relationships are alarming. Let that just sink in. Let that shit ruminate in your mind for a minute. Like, think about that. Like, it's alarming, really? How? Why? How is this alarming? It's just this shit is just wow. Wait a minute. They all wrote letters to the court saying it was culturally okay. It was culturally okay. So I'm gonna go on and say that the student was a Latino. And if that's the case, I'm gonna say they were either from Mexico, because I can't see that shit happening in Costa Rica. I can't see that shit happening in Costa Rica, at least without somebody getting a few bullet holes in them or somebody being disfigured or dismembered for the most part in Costa Rica. So I'm gonna say Mexico. I'm gonna say Mexico because I can't see something like this happening in Costa Rica. I could probably quite possibly see it happen in other parts of Central America, but I can't really see it happening without somebody being disfigured or dismembered and or have bullet holes in them. Wow, wow. The court they wrote letters to the court saying it's culturally acceptable. What? They're more worried about her losing her job? Are you fucking serious? What? So you can quite possibly do it to another child? Are you fucking serious? You're worried about her losing her job? What? Are you not worried about any other children? She got pregnant, then got an abortion. What? What? Thank you. But 10 years though, I think you should have did a book out her ass. I'm sorry, you should have did a book out her ass. 5 years? Are you fucking serious? 5 years? Oh my god! Only in America. Only in America. Wow. 5 years. 5 years, my guy. 5 years. 5 years, my guy. Yeah, the student, the teachers having sex with students is at an alarming rate in Houston, Texas. Think about that shit. Like we always hear about stories in Florida, so you can if it's an alarming rate in Houston, Texas, you can imagine how alarming it is across the country. Like think about that. Wow, wow. All wrote letters saying it's culturally appropriate. Oh shit, the shit we come up with. Are you fucking serious? Yeah, he would have got at least what 20, 30 years in jail if it was a man, and he'd probably been out in like 15 years on good behavior. Or not at all. Like this shit. Wow, dude. Wow. One more story, because I don't think I can handle this anymore without wanting to drink. Like legit, this is fucking ridiculous. So all the evidence existed, but the cops didn't look into it, or somebody forgotten to look into it. So basically, negligence on top of negligence on top of negligence, meaning somebody didn't do their damn job, and now this poor little kid, this poor young man, had to suffer consequences for bullshit. This dude was accused, and now he's simping. He's caping after he was accused and had his whole entire life derailed. Are you fucking serious? Are you really fucking serious? Who raised this kid? Please tell me he's not a son of a single mother, because this is the only way I can pretty much figure this out. If she's a single mother and oh god, this kid is caping the most after being destroyed. Yeah, like if you're going to give somebody else a non-amenity at oh I can't even say that fucking word. Fuck that word. The other person should at least be allowed to have the same be afforded the same thing. I don't really care how you think about it or what you think. Okay, no, hold on, wrong hand. I would say no, she's not married. That's wrong hand. Left hand. A 2 year nightmare. A 2 year nightmare. I'm sorry, I would burn down half the city until we figure out who the fuck accused me of this shit. Half the city got to go on fire. I'm sorry. Like, no, no, I'm done. No, no. Half the city's got to go on fire. How did the police overlook evidence? Well, no, I can't even ask that question because I was actually a victim of police overlooking evidence multiple times. So it just blows my mind how police could overlook evidence or not even investigate shit, all because they're being lazy or they're doing a lazy investigation or they want to rush stuff so they can finish it up basically so they can go back to wherever the fuck they're doing. That just blows my mind on shit. This is why police reform is actually needed. Because at the end of the day, if you can actually overlook evidence and or do shit that abuses power, you got problems, my friend. You got problems. And if you got people that's scared to speak up, yeah, I believe in reform. I believe in reform. Police reform. Not defunding the police, actual police reform. And you got this story over here with this kid whose girlfriend tortured and stabbed him and starved him. And people were laughing about the shit on the actual set of this show. Basically, they were making lighthearted jokes about the shit. And this man was tortured for years. Just think about that shit. And this is typically the freedom and carte blanche that women get in our society that goes unchecked on a regular basis. It's just sad. It's very fucking sad. Let it be UK, let it be America. It goes unchecked. Yeah, fuck that word. Yeah, but it goes unchecked, and it's sad when you watch it happen. And it's, man, I can't believe I just did this live stream. I didn't want to do this live stream. Now I feel like I got to go drink now. But y'all have a blessed one. Y'all be good. Thank y'all for tuning in. And for those of you who's going to be tuning in later, thank y'all for coming. And y'all have a blessed day. I don't want to keep it on longer than I already did. Be blessed. Take care of yourself. Check yourself, and always look out for your own self. Because sadly, in this world, nobody else is going to do it for you, especially the police, even if there's evidence. So yeah, especially if you're in Canada, there's video evidence. It'll get thrown out, and you'll get screwed. So protect yourself at all times. Do what you need to do. Hell, if you have a sexual encounter with a woman, put that shit on Pornhub. Fuck that shit. Videotape that shit and put it on Pornhub. Fuck that shit. That way, if she accuses you of some shit, it's no longer. It's no. You don't have to worry about it being thrown out because it's pretty much public knowledge now. But it's just shit like that that just blows my mind, dude. Oh my fucking god. See y'all.